Okay, so we got another crazy weekend of boxing. We got triple header of fights. We got the undisputed heavyweight championship going down tonight, which I'm on my way to in a minute, between 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗓𝗓 and our very own Daniel Dubois. We've got Bam Rodriguez down there in Texas, and he's doing his thing, largely expected to win, but right about now my heartstrings are being pulled and drawn to the alternative boxing universe, which is Manny Pacquiao at 46 years old fighting Mario Barrios, who's 30, for the WBC welterweight championship. This fight doesn't make any sense on paper, but then again, Manny Pacquiao's career has never made any sense on paper. You're talking about a guy that hasn't fought in the best part of 4 to 5 years. The last time we saw Manny Pacquiao, he didn't look very good. His legs weren't with him, albeit probably from overtraining the week before against Yordenis Ugas. Ugas was a very, very large welterweight, a last-minute replacement for the injured Errol Spence. I believe it was the detached retina at this point, which doctors, he'd had 2 failed medicals and then went for a third opinion. And he was devastated, heartbroken, couldn't fight for the mega payday against Pacquiao, which Thurman had benefited from just before that. So let's rewind the clock back to 2019 when Pac-Man defied the odds and done this. Knocked down Keith one time, Thurman. One time hit the deck, one time in that fight. Manny would show his age later on down the stretch in the later rounds, but with the knockdown, and did just enough in the first half of the fight to win. So Manny Pacquiao against all odds at the age of 40 beats Keith Thurman. That was already like, you know, boxing fairy tale. That was already kind of a dream come true. Sail off into the sunset, Manny. Go and run your political campaign in Philippines, and, you know, boxing Hall of Famer, 8-time weight world champion, etc. So we've got Barrios, who is a solid welterweight champion now. Barrios, who was probably a little bit underweight coming in versus Tank at the lighter weight, was giving Tank problems actually early in the fight. So much so that Floyd Mayweather felt it necessary to run around the ring, multiple breaking the rules. Only Floyd can do. Running around the ring. Be great, Tank, be great, be great. It's quite annoying actually that time. I remember him kind of talking over Tank's trainer Calvin Ford on the night. But needless to say, Tank got to Barrios late, but not before there was some kind of... He was definitely down on the scorecards. Barrios eventually moves up to the weight where he's now campaigning at, welterweight. Barrios is a tall guy, rangy, but he's not huge in the same sense as someone like Ugas, who for me was a weight bully. You could even see in their fight where Barrios did very well to drop Ugas twice, early and late, to win. Compared to Ugas versus Pacquiao. Now, the triangle theory never works in boxing, as in rock, paper, scissors. It don't work, because rock beats scissors, scissors beat paper, and paper, you know, beats rock. And as my 5-year-old says, diamond beats everything. Work that one out. Anyway, that is to say that because Pacquiao lost to Ugas, and because Barrios beat Ugas, doesn't mean that Barrios necessarily beats the aging Pacquiao. Now, using the word aging at this point is kind of irrelevant because he was aging against Thurman. In a recent long-form sit-down interview of Andre Ward, Pacquiao spoke about his body rejuvenating and recovering over the 4-year layoff. Now, a lot of older fighters talk about this, and there is precedent for this. We've seen this with George Foreman. Now, albeit heavyweights don't have to move like welterweights do, and George Foreman definitely doesn't have the same boxing style as Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is known for his explosive jumping in and out, his rhythmic attacks, his punches and bunches, his flurries. The very famous, boom, boom. You know, 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗓𝗓 does a good impression. Boom, 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 boom. And even Manny does it when he's mimicking himself. So Manny's style is very rhythmic. It's da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum. It's almost like playing the drums. It was largely reported that Manny had done way too much road work the week before the Ugas fight, similar to Errol Spence prior to Bud Crawford. Now, I think Bud would have beat him anyway. But it was noted by, ironically, by Azteca's trainer, Virgil Hunter. So if you don't know, Virgil Hunter is Barrios' trainer, previously Andre Ward's trainer, previously Amir Khan's trainer. So Virgil knows his thing, a thing or two about boxing, and he said that if you're running those high altitudes in the mountains, the week or even the week before fight week, you're asking for trouble, because apparently the recovery, and anyone who's done a 5 to 10 mile run will tell you that, even if you're a fine-tuned runner, you'll have some fatigue 2-3 days later. But if you're running at altitude, apparently it adds another layer of fatigue, and the recovery is that much longer. So you definitely shouldn't be using your legs up the week before fight night. So we'll see if Pacquiao's got anything left in the legs. Barrios convincingly beat Ugas in a competitive fight. That was a war of attrition, but he got the 2 knockdowns, so he won the fight comfortably. Pacquiao was overpowered and somewhat outgunned by Ugas, but that was a mismatch for me, in a sense of styles make fights. Ugas is like this tall and Pacquiao's like this tall. Ugas effectively a middleweight fighting at welterweight. Worked that one out. Yeah. I think the smart money says, well, no. The safe money says that Barrios wins. Now, as Shakur Stevenson said recently on Ariel Helwani, where I come from, scared money don't make money. And I get that. I appreciate that. He's basically saying, if you don't roll the dice, you got to be in it to win it. If you don't shoot, you don't score. That's a favourite idiom from the UK. If you don't shoot, you don't score. So, yeah, Pacquiao, full disclosure, Pacquiao is one of my favourite all-time fighters. Probably my favourite fighter from my life era. My second favourite fighter probably all-time to Sugar Ray Robinson. For me, boxing starts and ends with Sugar Ray Robinson. So Manny Pacquiao is your favourite fighter's favourite fighter. Was he as all-round slick and polished as Floyd Mayweather? No. Did he have a much more exciting career? Probably, yeah. You haven't got to have that perfect CV to have a great career. And Manny Pacquiao is the prime example of that. Kind of like Evander Holyfield's got losses on his record. Kind of how Muhammad Ali's got losses on his record. Kind of how, well, yeah. Manny Pacquiao is a human being. He's got 8 losses on his record. But there was a lot of it. There were a few robberies in there. Jeff Horn, Timothy Bradley won. There were a few dodgy decisions in there. But anyway, it's been a helter-skelter career. I'm going to be a romantic today. Shoot me down, I don't care. I'm going to be a romantic. I'm going to say that Pacquiao potentially does this again. I'm going to say that Pac-Man potentially does that again. But in the real world, Barrios probably too long and too strong for him. Probably too long, too strong. He's gonna keep Manny at distance. It all comes down to whether Pacquiao has still got the legs, and if his conditioning in his legs and his cardio are on point. I think Manny's always been able to take a punch pretty well, unless he's jumping into a straight down the pipe from Marquez. We shall see how the unorthodox angles hold up. We shall see how Father Time, it might give Pacquiao a pass one more time. Father Time might just give Manny a bligh one last time. One more time on the rodeo and really and truly sail off. The problem is, win, lose or draw, you got a queue forming. Conor Ben wants to fight the winner. Yeah? Rolly Romero's talking about moving up, fighting the winner. Now, will they all be chomping at the bit if it's Barrios and it's not such a big payday? Probably not. Everybody wants to be in what they call in America the Manny Pacquiao sweepstakes. Sorry, I've got a mad tongue tie going on today. Everyone wants to be in the Pac-Man sweepstakes because, it's, you're talking about double figure millions, So it's retirement money. Barrios to win split decision, or Pac-Man pulls it out the bag, gets a knockdown, and wins unanimous. I'm going with Pac, man. I don't care. I'm putting it out there to be shot down. Manny Pacquiao wins against the odds. WBC champion for the umpteenth time. Yeah, he's already been lineal champion at welterweight before. He does it one more time. Let's go. Ring wraps, boxing highs. I'm off to 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗓𝗪 now. Big up Bam Rodriguez. We got a lot of boxing this weekend. It's a stacked Saturday, super Saturday. You'll see me tomorrow for the roundup. For the Saturday night roundup, we'll be back tomorrow in the den, in the content den, doing our thing. And yeah, man, ring, wrap, wraps. Let's go.